Hello, this is Wmpyr back again with another excerpt from Don Pentecost. Put him down, take him out. Knife fighting techniques from Folsom prison. Okay, so this is one thing that he has been talking about, which is leading with the knife. And he says, on television, the villain always leads with the knife. He begins an attack by thrusting the knife hand out so the hero can knock the weapon out of his hand. Not even on TV, however, would someone kick or grab at a properly retracted knife hand. So anyway, he is really against the idea of leading with a knife. Now, my background is Filipino martial arts. Kia, Kali, Escrima, Arnis. So when I come from that background, we are taught that the weapon is in the lead hand. Okay, that's our main thing. And historically, it makes sense because we have a tremendous influence from the Spanish sword fighting. So just take a look at modern day fencing, which is the modern version of that. I mean, it's changed drastically, but you could still see, the similarities into fencing today. And so you can understand that it is a lead hand. You're attacking with the lead, So this guy is talking about the opposite. He's talking about the opposite. And so if I had a closed mind, and if I was like, no, I'm an Escrima guy, Escrima 100% all the way, everything else is wrong. If I had that kind of really dumb closed mind, then I would, the moment this guy said leading with the knife is not a good thing, then I would have been like, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This is stupid. And I would have closed the book and that's it, right? But in order to really benefit from this book and have an open mind, because people are so quick to be criticized, and I see it on the internet all the time, you guys leaving comments and stuff. You think you're teaching somebody else, you're going, no, you're wrong, this is the way to do it, but actually you're really showing how close-minded you are, or you're also revealing, that you're the type of person that you totally mistake your opinion for fact. And that is a dangerous place to be in, okay? So the most important thing about all this, right, is that you have to learn it. No one starts off good. I have to learn this stuff. And in order to learn it, I have to have an open mind as much as I can. I have to be a good student. So to be a good student and to learn well, you need an open mind, period. Okay? So what's important for me here is not go, oh, this guy, what he's teaching here, leading with the knife, he says is wrong. That's the opposite of what I did. Well, at that point, what I need to do is look at what he's saying and try to understand, why is he saying this? What is his point of view? And by understanding that, I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. I'm just trying to understand. And by better understanding it, his position, his point of view, it might further solidify mine, or it might make me change mine. It's not about right or wrong. It's about understanding. It's about studying. Okay, it's about benefiting from this. And so right here on the right side, the picture on the right, he says, knife against knife is a scenario you will not often see on the street. Okay, so they both have a knife. It's kind of hard to see, but the guy on the left has a knife, all right? So it's knife versus knife. And he's saying that's rare, okay? So that tells me the situation that he's talking about. So he's not talking about that situation. In Kia, I said it's a strong influence from Spanish fencing, espada y daga. That is weapon versus weapon. Okay, This guy says that's not what we're talking about. So that's why he's saying leading with a knife is not a good thing. So on a weapon versus weapon thing, leading with a knife would make sense. It makes sense to me, and that's what I've studied, you know. So in a non-situation like this, he's saying it doesn't make sense, right? So now we're actually, his idea and my idea can work together. Actually, we're not necessarily contradicting each other. You know, it doesn't combat each other. They could work together. And so one is weapon versus weapon, and then the other is weapon versus empty hand. Because remember, he's talking about knife fighting techniques from Folsom prison. In prison, we're talking about like shankings, right? Shank attacks. You know, you bum rushed a guy and then you stabbed him to death. That's the kind of thing he's talking about. So that also tells me that what he's talking about is he's talking about closing the gap as fast as possible. You want to close in on the guy. So if you're closing in on the guy, right, rapidly, then your empty hand, your lead hand can be shoving the guy, or it could be grabbing the guy, or it could be helping you, you know, become kind of like a riot shield where you're ramming that into the guy in order to stab the guy repeatedly. So that's another difference, is we're talking about like close range combat here. And when we go back to the Spanish fencing, they don't, I mean, look at fencing today. They don't start right there. No, they're starting from a distance. So we're talking about long range. So the ranges are different and the scenario is different. So then there was really not a whole lot for me to figure out. It wasn't like, oh, how could he say that? It completely contradicts what I learned. No, it's simple for me. It makes sense. What he's saying makes sense, and what I learned makes sense. You know, so the important thing about this video, even though I'm talking about knife combat and I'm talking about this book, I'm really talking about how to learn. Okay, so I hope you guys can maybe get some tips there. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.